I thought I was coming home to hugs and happiness. Instead, I walked into the ultimate betrayal. My own brother, my girlfriend, my family hiding the truth. But they didn't realize I had a plan, and I was about to take everything back. I had been gone for almost a year of sweat, sacrifice, and silence. When I enlisted, I knew it wouldn't be easy. The military stripped me down to nothing and rebuilt me from the ground up. Long nights of training, endless days under the burning sun, and weeks without hearing a familiar voice. It all changed me. But through it all, one thing kept me going. The thought of home. Home. My parents. My little sister, Lily. And of course, Emily. Emily had been my girlfriend since high school. The one constant in my chaotic life. She promised she would wait for me, that nothing could break us apart. Every letter, every whispered phone call, during rare moments of leave, she swore she loved me. She swore she was mine. I believed her. So when I finally earned a short leave and knew I could go home for the first time in 12 months, I didn't tell anyone. I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted to walk through the door and see their faces light up, to feel the warmth of family and the embrace of the girl I thought I'd marry one day. The flight home felt like forever. My heart pounded against my chest as the plane touched down. I barely slept. The anticipation was electric. When I finally stood in front of my house, a duffel bag slung over my shoulder. My palms were sweating. The familiar blue paint on the door, the old oak tree in the yard where Lily and I used to climb, the faint glow of lights from the dining room, it all felt like a dream. I reached for the doorknob and turned it slowly. Unlocked. They must have been expecting guests. As I pushed the door open, laughter floated out from the dining room. Loud, carefree, joyful. It made me smile at first. That was my family. That was the sound I had missed. But then, another voice joined in. A voice I didn't recognize. A deep, confident, male voice. My smile faded. But I kept moving forward, my boots silent against the floorboards. The smell of roasted chicken and garlic mashed potatoes hit me. The smell of home. I rounded the corner, heart racing, ready to yell, "Surprise!" But then I froze. At the dinner table sat my family. Mom, Dad, Lily, and Emily. But sitting right next to Emily, his arm draped casually across the back of her chair, was a man I had never seen before. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with neatly styled hair and a smirk plastered across his face. His hand brushed against Emily's arm as if he owned her. And the worst part? She didn't flinch. She didn't push him away. She leaned into it. For a second, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. I stood there, gripping the strap of my duffel bag so hard, my knuckles turned white. Mom was the first to notice me. Her eyes widened, her fork clattered against her plate, and she whispered, "Oh, my God." Everyone turned. "Jack," Dad said, his voice low, uncertain. Lily gasped, tears instantly welling up in her eyes. She shot up from her chair and ran toward me, wrapping her arms around my waist. "You're home," she cried. "You're finally home." I hugged her back mechanically, my eyes locked on Emily. Her face went pale. Her lips trembled. "Jack, But the stranger didn't look guilty, and he didn't look shocked. He just raised his eyebrow, smirked, and leaned back in his chair like he owned the place. "And who's this?" he asked casually, as if I was the intruder. I clenched my jaw. My voice came out like steel. "I should be asking you the same thing." Emily's eyes darted between us, panic written all over her face. "Jack, please. It's not what it looks like." "Not what it looks like," I snapped, my voice louder than I intended. Because what it looks like is you sitting here at my family's table with some random guy's arm around you. Jack, Mom began softly, but I cut her off with a glare. Emily's lip quivered. This is Mark. He's just a friend. Friend? Mark chuckled, his voice dripping with arrogance. Come on, Em. Don't lie to him. The room went silent. My blood turned to ice. Em. That was my name for her. Mark leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. We've been together for a while now. I guess she didn't have the heart to tell you. The air was sucked out of my lungs. The walls felt like they were closing in. I looked at Emily, desperate for her to deny it, to tell me he was lying, to tell me I was still the man she loved. But she didn't. She just sat there, tears sliding down her cheeks, her silence confirming everything. I felt Lily's grip on me tighten, but I could barely feel her arms. My vision tunneled, my pulse hammering in my ears. Mom whispered, Jack, please sit down. No, I said, my voice shaking with rage. Don't, just don't. Emily finally found her voice. Jack, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen this way. You were gone so long, and I... Stop! My voice cracked. Just stop. Mark smirked again, enjoying every second. Look, man, don't take it personally. She needed someone here, someone who could actually be there for her. You were off playing soldier. I was here. Simple as that. The words sliced through me like knives. My fists curled so tightly, I could feel my nails digging into palms. Every muscle in my body screamed to lunge across the table and wipe that smug look off his face. But something stopped me. Maybe it was Lily's tear-streaked face pressed into my side. Maybe it was my mom's trembling hands. Or maybe it was the cold realization that I had just lost everything in one moment. I dropped my duffel bag onto the floor. The sound echoed through the room like a gunshot. Emily flinched. Mark just smirked wider. I came back here, I said slowly, my voice low and deadly, to surprise my family, to surprise the girl I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. I looked directly at Emily. Her eyes filled with guilt, shame, regret. I guess the surprise is on me. Without another word, I turned, grabbed my bag, and walked out the door. Lily's cries followed me down the hall. Mom's voice cracked as she called my name. But Emily stayed silent. The cold night air hit me like a slap in the face as I stepped outside. My chest heaved, my heart breaking, my mind racing. I had faced grueling training, sleepless nights, and battles that tested every ounce of strength I had. But nothing hurt like this. I thought about turning back, about screaming, about demanding answers. But I didn't, because deep down I knew the truth. And I knew this wasn't the end. Not by a long shot. This was just the beginning. I didn't sleep that night. I drove until the gas tank was almost empty, until my eyelids felt like sandpaper. I pulled over at some forgotten rest stop, killed the engine, and just sat there with my forehead against the steering wheel. I kept seeing it, over and over again. Mark's arm around Emily, her silence, my mom's awkward attempt to change the subject, my dad looking anywhere but at me. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. I thought I had a home. I thought I had a family waiting for me. Instead, I came back a stranger. But the thing about being broken, once you hit the bottom, you stop being afraid of falling. By the time the sun came up, I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't begging for answers in my head. No, I was calm, cold. Because if Mark thought he could slide into my place while I was gone, if Emily thought she could throw me away like some disposable chapter of her life, then I was going to make sure they both paid for it. Not with fists. Not with screaming matches. No. I was going to take my time, watch them, learn them. And then I was going to take apart everything they built, piece by piece, until they had nothing left but each other. Mark wasn't hard to track. He worked at a car dealership across town, strutting around like he owned the place. I'd park across the street, hat pulled low, watching him charm customers with that plastic smile. He was slick, but not as slick as he thought. I noticed how his boss chewed him out constantly, how his co-workers rolled their eyes when he wasn't looking. Emily was always with him. At first, the sight of them together twisted my gut like a knife. But the more I watched, the more cracks I saw. She didn't look happy. She laughed, sure, but it was forced. She looked at her phone when he wasn't paying attention. She smiled at the right times, but her eyes told a different story. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remember the way she sat there at that dinner table, silent while my whole world collapsed, and the sympathy evaporated. I started asking around, discreetly. Turns out Mark had a reputation, fast talker, smooth liar, always chasing the next shiny thing, always trying to date up to someone prettier, richer, more useful. Emily wasn't the first girlfriend he'd stolen, and she definitely wouldn't be the last. But the real gold came when I overheard two salesmen talking in the parking lot one night. "Guy's a clown," one of them said. "Thinks he's the boss. Half his deals are shady anyway. If corporate ever checked the books, he'd be gone in a week." Shady deals. That was my opening. I spent weeks gathering proof. I'd tail him to bars after work, watching him slip cash into shady hands. I'd follow his car to back lots where he swapped license plates before test drives. Piece by piece, I built a case. And the whole time, I played the ghost. No one knew I was back in town, not even Emily. Not my parents. Until the night came when I was ready. I called my mom first. Told her I wanted to come by for dinner again. Pretended like nothing had happened. I could hear the hesitation in her voice, but she agreed. When I showed up, the house felt heavy, like the walls themselves remembered the last time I'd walked through that door. Mark was there again. Of course he was. Emily, too. She looked thinner, tired. Her smile didn't reach her eyes when she saw me. Mark, on the other hand, smirked, like the devil himself. "Well, look who finally crawled back," he said. I didn't bite. I just sat down, let him talk, let him brag about his success at the dealership, about the new car he was driving, about the trips he was planning. And then, halfway through his monologue, I dropped the hammer. "Funny," I said, "because your boss didn't seem too impressed when he saw the files I sent him last week." The room went dead silent. "What files?" Mark snapped. "Oh, you know," I said, pulling a folder from my bag. "All those shady sales, the cash deals under the table, the license plate swaps, the test drives that never came back." Emily's face went pale. My mom covered her mouth. My dad finally looked at me, not with shame this time, but something closer to pride. Mark's smirk evaporated. You're lying." I tossed the folder onto the table. "Corporate doesn't think so. And the cops I forwarded it to don't either." It was like watching a tower crumble in slow motion. Mark stammered, his face turning red, then white. He tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. Emily stared at him like she was seeing him for the first time. "You told me," she started, but he cut her off. "Shut up, Emily," he barked. That was it. The mask was gone. The smooth talker, the fake charm, it all shattered. He was just a coward scrambling to hold on to a lie. Emily stood up, shaking her head. "I left him for you," she whispered. "And this is who you are?" She grabbed her purse and walked out without another word. Mark lunged after her, but I caught his arm. "Don't bother," I said. "She's done, and so are you." By the next week, Mark was gone. Fired, blacklisted, facing charges. Emily tried calling me once. I didn't answer. She sent a text. "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." I deleted it without replying. My parents. It wasn't easy. My mom cried. My dad apologized. Slowly, we started rebuilding what was broken. And me? I realized something. This wasn't about Emily, or even about Mark. It was about me finally taking back control of my own story. I came home a stranger, but I wasn't leaving as one. I was leaving as the man who finally stood up, not just to betrayal, but to everything that tried to break me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.